Milan-San Remo is the first monument of the cycling season, a race unlike any other. At nearly 300 kilometers, it's a battle of endurance, patience, and perfectly timed attacks, from the relentless grind of the Cipressa to the explosive final moments of the Poggio climb and descent. This race has crowned sprinters, punchers, and even solo breakaway riders as winners. As the peloton prepares for the 2025 edition, a handful of riders stand out as key contenders. Whether it's proven winners, a rising star, or even a dark horse, these 5 riders that we're going to look at today are probably some of the best riders at a shot of raising their arms in celebration on the Via Roma. But before we start the video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and if you haven't already, why not check out our 2025 World Tour predictions and see who we predicted. First on our list is not an individual rider, but rather a team. And here we've gone for Lidl-Trek, who could be bringing a dual approach to the race, with both Jasper Milan and Mathieu Philipsen being in the lineup. And both have been on very solid form, with Jasper Milan picking up wins here, there, and everywhere, including Tirreno Adriatico, and Mathieu Philipsen doing the same in Paris-Nice. Mathieu Philipsen, first of all, a Danish pick, was 4th last year, agonizingly close to the podium, and would prefer if the race is a bit harder, particularly on the Poggio, as he's shown very good climbing legs in Paris-Nice. So he would hope that the field gets diluted of the pure sprinters, but if it isn't, they have the second backup of Jasper Milan, who is arguably the fastest rider on 2 wheels and happens to be Italian, so could potentially be there in the finish if the punchers haven't destroyed the race completely. The key word for Lidl-Trek is that they have options in this race, and they would not care who wins as long as they do take the win, and would like to add another trophy to the one they got a few years ago. Nevertheless, next on the list is Mathieu, who is a very impressive rider, to say the least. He's incredibly versatile and performs very well in monument races. His record in this race is solid, with 3 podium finishes to his name, which includes the agonizing second place he had last year, and he'll be hoping to do one better in 2025. But let's hear from the man himself what it was like in 2024.
Of Paris-Nice, and then the Milan-San Remo story, losing by a tyre.
How was that for you? Because that was a pretty incredible edition.
It was the fastest ever, so that was something special, that's for sure. But losing by a tyre, it's still difficult to swallow at the moment. I think it's going to be a hard one, because it's one of the races that I've really targeted in my career. I've had a long career, and I think it's the race I've done the most in my career. So losing by a tyre, it's hard one to swallow.
How do you win it, do you think? Is it just also luck as well?
I think there's a lot of luck. I mean, in that finish, if you look at the sort of 15 guys that are there, it's a mixture of multiple different riders, let's say. There's some climbers, there's some sort of aggressive attacking more riders, and then there's some more pure sprinters. So it's also some time trial guys, I think, also in there was in the finish last year. So it's really a gamble. I mean, everyone tries to play their card, let's say, which that way they want to win it. And in the end, you sort of just have to hope that your card is the one that gets drawn and you're the first one across the finish line. So I think that's why a lot of people love that race. It's like anything could happen.
In 2025, the Australian star has had a bit of a quiet season, a 12th place in a one-day Spanish race, and also being up towards the front in Paris-Nice, but nothing to write home about. And this is similar to some of the other seasons he's had as well. However, don't discount Mathieu. He has all the attributes to do well in Milan-San Remo once again. And if the race unfolds similar to last year, he should be able to roll with the punches and maximize his sprint, and maybe just get the right inch this time and not the wrong one. Coming into number 3, and here we have none other than Jasper Philipsen, arguably one of the fastest men on 2 wheels. He has performed very well in Milan-San Remo in the past, and last year did incredibly well to win the race, out sprinting Mathieu to take the victory. Philipsen has had question marks so far in the year, not winning anything in the UAE Tour, coming away with a relegation instead, but did bounce back to win Kuurne-Brussels-Kuurne, and potentially the Belgian rider can do the unthinkable of winning Milan-San Remo back-to-back, which has been a bit of a while since we've seen that, going back to 2001, where Erik Zabel won back-to-back. But is Jasper Philipsen going to be able to do that? He's a very hardy sprinter. He can roll with the punches, but he will potentially need his teammates to keep the race together, and there are very big sprinting threats threats in the field that he would like to get rid of as well. Nevertheless, before we come into the top 2, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and get involved in the chat as well. But some of the other riders to mention that haven't made it into our top 5 is Tom Pidcock, who is in extraordinary form. We saw that in Tirreno Adriatico, where he managed to be up there towards the pointy end of many stages. He even won his first stage race as well as a pro in the Aiulla Tour, and as we covered here on the channel, he did very well at the Vuelta a Andalusia, taking a stage win and finishing second. And we also know at Strade Bianche he did very well to finish second, best of the rest, and a great season so far for Q36.5 from him. We also have Binyam Girmay, who we have to mention. Obviously the Eritrean star hasn't been in action recently because he became a father for the second time, and maybe it's a bit of a stretch for him to do well after that, but we'll wait and see. Matej Mohoric as well, the previous winner of this race. You can never really discount him despite not starting Strade Bianche. He did early on finish second in the Torla province, where he finished second on the Queen stage to Mads Pedersen. Magnus Cort Nielsen, another Dane, he has looked phenomenally strong. Milan-San Remo is a race he truly wants to win, and he did very well early on, winning 3 stages of Il Gran Camino and was up there in the top 10 of Strade Bianche. And with the form that Uno X Mobility have, potentially they could do something big here. Lawrence Pithy is another rider riding for Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe. He was top 15 last year and has all the attributes to do well if he gets the chance. With that out of the way, in second place we have a rider that possesses the sheer versatility and race winning instinct to dominate this race, and that's Mathieu van der Poel. And when it comes to this race, he has proven time and time again he is built for this race. His unforgettable 2023 victory, sealed with a blistering attack on the Poggio, cemented his place in this race's history, following in the footsteps of his legendary grandfather of Remo and Pulido. Now he returns as potentially the outright favorite, looking to reclaim the title that slipped away from his grasp, but still within his team in 2024. Since his debut in the race in 2020, Van der Poel has been at the sharp end of the race. His lowest result was in 2020, finishing 13th. Then in 2021, 5th. 2022 on the podium, and then, as we know, winning. And last year it was a different role for him, as he was marking moves from Tadej Pogacar and working well for his teammate Jasper Philipsen, and finishing 10th, a result that didn't really reflect his influence on the final outcome. With his recent form looking very good after winning La Samen and being up there in Tirreno Adriatico, his hunger for another monument is growing. Van der Poel enters Milan-San Remo as probably the man to beat, and if the race unfolds in his favour, we could be witnessing yet another masterclass from one of cycling's most electrifying talents. What makes Van der Poel so dangerous in Milan-San Remo is he's able to handle the immense 300-kilometer distance while still unleashing devastating accelerations when it matters. He can follow the best climbers on the Poggio, descent like a daredevil, and if needed, outsprint many of his rivals in a reduced group. Whether he launches another solo move or plays his cards in a small sprint, few can match his explosiveness in the finale. But one man who is looking to do that is the man he was dealing many duels with on the Poggio last year, and that is the world champion of Tadej Pogacar, who has already redefined what is possible in the world of modern cycling. Yet Milan-San Remo remains one of the few monuments that has eluded the Slovenian. The UAE Team Emirates leader has tried different approaches to crack Milan-San Remo, from long-range attacks to patient positioning, but so far victory has remained out of reach. Now he lines up as the reigning world champion, aiming to do what no other rider has done since 1983, to win as world champion, and the last man to do that was Giuseppe Saroni. In 2025, Pogacar has already looked invincible, winning the UAE Tour in a very comfortable fashion and then going on to Strade Bianche, crashing dramatically but regathering himself and darting after Pidcock and subsequently winning the race. Pogacar, as a world champion, also has a remarkable record of 100% winning record in the Italian one-day races, as he won Giro d'Emilia, Il Lombardia and Strade Bianche, so he will be hoping that he can sustain that impressive record and win Milan-San Remo as well. Since Pogacar's debut in the race in 2020, he has steadily improved, learning how to navigate its unique challenges. He finished 12th in 2020, 5th in 2022, agonizingly close to the podium in 2023 with a 4th place behind Wout van Aert, and then last year in the sprint managing to beat Mads Pedersen to the podium and finish with Philipsen and Michael Matthews. That meant he added another monument podium to his impressive record, only missing out on Paris-Roubaix, but that's for a different video, of course. What makes Pogačar such a dangerous contender in this race is his panache, his aggressive nature, his phenomenal kick, his aggressive descending to gain an advantage as well, and just sheer relentlessness to try and get the win, even from in a sprint where he's surrounded by sprinters. The question remains whether he will go all out on another explosive move or trust his improving sprint to finally conquer La Classissima. And of course, we talked in a video here on the channel how Tadej Pogacar could potentially win this race, so check that out as well. With the rainbow stripes on his shoulders and an ever-growing hunger for monument success, Pogacar will be one of the biggest threats on race day. If he times his effort perfectly with his team, we could see the world champion raise his arms in triumph on Via Roma, ending a 42-year wait for a Milan-San Remo winner in the rainbow jersey. But anyways, with that, that's basically it for this video. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and why not let me know down below what you think of the race. And make sure to check out our podcast as well on Spotify, and the preview show will be available as well soon. So with that, thank you very much for watching, and of course, as always, I will see you around.